Hey, welcome everybody. Tony Porter and Dice Baseball Digest, and we are within 20 games of completing our 1973 season, replaying the 73 Mets using Fall Classic Baseball, and stats look pretty interesting, pretty close, and today I'm gonna basically demonstrate or play through a New York Mets at Montreal. Montreal's got its ballpark card where it's a little more advantageous for lefties in the home run department, and goes all the way up to fives. Fours and fives are doubles. 1 to 3s are home runs. For righties, a little bit less. 1 and 2 are home runs, and 3 and 4 are doubles. Then you have the foul balls, and then you're going to have the outs. You're going to have the single stretching a single into a double using the outfielder's assist rating. And then you have a 20 would be goes to the 54 chart, the wildest section. So we're going to have Steve Renko against John Matlack. John Matlack's an A. Renko is a C column. And let's get the ball game underway. As you can see, it's Wayne Garrett leading off, and he's batting .260 with 14 home runs. In reality, he batted .256 with 16 home runs. And here is the first pitch of the ball game. A 53, and that is going to be a range play. And the 19 is higher than the KD. The KD for the pitcher is 1 to 2. So if had I rolled a 1 or a 2 on that D20, it would be a strikeout. And you only use that for 51, 52, and 53, and it clearly shows that. It's called KD. It's like either strikeout on defensive roll. So it's a KD question mark. You check the how low. Every pitcher has a KD rating on their column, and it goes up as the pitcher's column improves to the left. That KD range will increase, and sometimes it eliminates errors because the pitcher will strike out the batter rather than having to test the defensive ability of the fielder. All right, so it's a drive, and let us see. It's a drive. It's in the hole, so it's slapped to the opposite field, and will Foley get to it? Yes, but no, it rolls out of his glove, and he will not have a play at first, so it's an infield single. Now, I don't have the defensive, well, I do have the defensive chart, but it doesn't come up all the time, so I'm not worried about it. But I will look at Foley and pretty much remember he's a 13. So had this been 13 or lower, he would have dove for that ball and gotten up and thrown Garrett out at first. But it's a 19, so it's going to go through off Foley's glove for a single, and that puts Garrett on first base. And here comes Mian. We're looking for victory, so we're going to get Mian to square. You know what? He's going to hit and run. There goes the runner. And Mian with a 51. We're going to look at that hit and run result. It's a 6. And it's going to be a tapper right back to the mound. Renko has only one play, and that's the first. So the runner moves to second into scoring position here in the top of the first inning, and it's Rusty Staub who's having, Rusty was batting .250 for a long time, and then he went on a tear, and he must be batting .400 for the last 6 weeks, and he raised his average to .324. Pretty intense. The guy's been getting 2 hits per game, and he's got 20 home runs on the season. So he's shown power, he's shown hitting ability, he's got a great on-base percentage at .415. So Rusty Staub is basically just smashing the ball right now. All right, so Renko is going to get the sign from Stinson, and here's the pitch. And a 24 is a hit by pitch, but the 13 is too high, and that's going to be a ground ball to the right side. Let's see, runner will advance. So it's picked up by Breeden at first base, and he will step on the bag ahead of Rusty. So with 2 outs, Garrett moves to third, and that's going to bring up John Milner. So on the infield for the Expos, you got Bailey at third, Foley at short, Hunt at second base, and Breeden, the first baseman behind the plate, is Stinson, and on the mound is Steve Renko. Renko 17-9 with a 2.86 ERA. His whip is 1.1. In the outfield from left to right, you've got Scott, Tony, and Woods. I believe it's Al. And then Singleton, Kenny Singleton, who was a Met until recently. John Milner with a chance to drive in a run. Let's see what happens. Here's the pitch from Renko, and that's going to be a 43. That's ball 4. So Milner shows some patience and manages a walk. He moves to first base, and that here comes Steady Eddie Kranepool. Steady Eddie's on the season's batting .238. In reality, he batted .239. In the replay, he's got 2 home runs. He hit only 1 home run in 1973. So he's got 1 more than he actually had in the season. But right where you want it to be, right? Close enough. All right, Ed Kranepool now. He's another left-handed hitter. So the Mets kind of loaded up the lineup with lefty hitters. And here's the pitch. Runners on first and third, and they go, and they're on the move, and that's a hard hit ball to right. And Singleton is right there to haul it in, but that was stroked. Ripped to right, and right to Singleton, who was positioned perfectly for Kranepool. So Kranepool gets robbed, and here's John Matlack, who Matlack has improved tremendously. His whip is 1.23. He's 10-9, and he's got a 3.59 ERA. Had a rough start, and but he has pitched excellently over the last month and a half, 2 months. Here's the pitch to Hunt. Ron Hunt leading off. A 65, and that is going to be ground ball to third base. Garrett scoops it up, fires a strike to Kranepool. The Mets defense is Garrett at third, Harrelson the shortstop, Mian the second base, and Kranepool the first baseman. Behind the plate is Grody catching Matlack today. Milner in left field, Hahn the center fielder, and Staub in right. Hahn has good range and so-so range, and Staub has a good arm. But so does Hahn, so Milner is probably the weakest arm in the outfield, but not terrible. All right, so it's going to be Tony Scott. Tony Scott only had 1 at-bat and 2 runs. He did start in this game, though. Here's the pitch, and that is going to be a 62, strike 3, and he goes down on strikes. Next is, let me double check that that's Tony Scott. Yeah, that's Tony Scott. All right, here's Bob Bailey, pitch from Matlack, and a 61, strike 3, and that retires the side. So easy inning for John Matlack. And leading off in the top of the second is Jerry Grody. Jerry Grody's having an excellent season, batting .307. And a 46 and a 7, that's going to be pulled foul into the seats. Another chance for Grody. And a 45 will be a fly ball lifted to left, and Scott near the line makes the catch. Don Hahn. And it's a 42. That's going to be ball 4, so Hahn walks. Not very good speed. He's an S. Buddy Harrelson next. Pitch to Harrelson, and Harrelson with a ground ball right back to the pitcher. Let's see what kind of arm Renko has. He's going to go to first. Runner will advance on this. If Renko had been a strong arm pitcher, he would have gone to second and back to first for a double play. Here's John Matlack, not much of a hitter. Had 9 hits and 65 at bats. The pitch, fastball down the middle, and that's going to be an out. Popped up the left side, Bailey, and that retires the side. Now, this game plays incredibly fast, and you'll start once you start seeing me get into the rhythm. Remember, I am doing play-by-play, so that slows down a little bit, but otherwise I'll play an inning like you would, and you can easily get through this game 20-25 minutes, but it's not about speed, right? It's about just enjoying it. So here's Hal Breeden. Here's the pitch from Matlack, and a 43 will be a ground ball to the left side. Garrett steps in front of the shortstop, Harrelson, 1 away. Kenny Singleton, switch hitter, batting from the right side against the lefty Matlack. Matlack stats are 3.56 ERA, 10.9. I think I went over those. A 65. That's going to be trouble. And no, kind of hits down on the ball and a little tapper right back to Matlack. And the reason is that it's a 65, so it's a pitcher home run off the batter card, and then that tells you to go to the pitcher. It's only 1-3, so it had to have been a 1, 2, or a 3 for a home run off the pitcher card. So the 11 makes it a ground ball right back to the mound. Now, I do use fast action cards for certain things, but I minimize those things. The outs and the base runner advancement all come from the D20. Okay, so the 13 tells me it's a ground ball to the. He was a righty, so it was a ground ball to short. Actually, it was a. I don't know what. It doesn't matter. But anyway, the D20 will tell you. Okay, Ron Woods is up. Here's a pitch from Matlack, and it's a 22, and that's going to be ball 4. So there's a walk. Matlack has a tendency to lose the plate a little bit every so often. Now this is going to be a stolen base opportunity. I use automatic steals. The 22 has a plus sign. So the first thing you do on this is you roll a D20. You're looking for a 1. It could be a pickoff instead. It could be a pickoff or a pitcher error. Let's see what happens. No 1. So we're just going to roll for the steal. I know that Grody's just an average arm, and so he has no advantage or disadvantage. So here is Woods there goes Woods to throw it down from Grody. Woods' number is 13. We rolled a nothing. We got to roll again, and we roll a 10. He is safe under the tag. So Harrelson, high tag, and Woods slides in under the tag. So there's a runner in scoring position now. No score in this game. Tim Foley, 2 outs. Pitch from Matlack. 51 is an error check. The first thing we're going to do is look at that KD, because 51, 52, and 53 are defensive checks. And the first thing you do on defensive checks, you look at the KD, and I rolled a 5, and that's 1-5. Strike 3. Foley down, swinging. And that retires a sack. That's how that KD works. It only comes up when you roll 51, 52, or 53. So, Baseball Demos is going to be playing some Fall Classic Baseball. Make sure to check out his channel. And ID Jester was playing it tonight as well. Also playing Fall Classic Baseball. And hopefully we get Kirk Berglund to give us a few games. So, just stay tuned for those games on their channels. Here's Wayne Garrett leading it off against Steve Renko, the right-hander. Renko winds and deals a 35, and that'll be a line drive to the third baseman. So Garrett goes oppo and rips one, but right at Beetle Bailey at third base. So 1 away. Here's Felix Mian batting 284. He batted 290, and he's been on a tear. And the pitch from Renko, 42. That's going to be ball 4. So that may be the second or third walk by Renko. So the Mets are hitting those walk numbers on Renko's card. Here's Rusty Staub. And Rusty Staub is going to go, we're going to try hit and run. There goes the runner, and that's going to be a 9. A 60, a 9 is going to be hit and run A, and he is, and that'll be a bouncer. Right here is hit and run A, so he's going to be a bouncer to second base. He advances the runner. And here's John Milner. Renko gets a sign, the pitch. And it's a 15, which will be lifted to center. Woods backs up. Squeezes it for the out. We go to the bottom of the third. Bob Stinson, I remember him as a Seattle Mariner in 77. That expansion season. Matlack winds and deals to Stinson. And a 21 will be a bouncer to second base. Mian is in front of it. Throws out Stinson. Renko now, pitch from Matlack with a 63, strike 3, and he goes down, swinging. And now it's Ron Hunt. Ron Hunt batting 277, no home runs, 400 bats. And it's a 34, and that will be popped up, middle infield. Mian and Harrelson right in front of the second base bag, and it will be Mian who calls off Harrelson And Mets have not had a good season in this replay in terms of, win-loss record. They've really struggled. For sure, they came on in the last month or so, but then they fell into a 5-6 game losing streak. I think they've won 2 in a row. Here's Steady Eddie Kranepool. There's no score in this game in the top of the fourth. The pitch from Renko. 51, and that's going to be, see that now? This is a 51, so you do the KD check. It's 1-2, but I rolled a 3, so it's probably going to be an error. It's low enough to be an error. So this is where I pull the fast action card, and I look at the 51. It's bounced to second base, Hunt, and through his legs. Oh, boy. Got in front of it and didn't get the glove down. And I'm just, oh, man. But look at that. He didn't make many errors. He's got a 4 there. So, but I rolled low enough to beat that 4. So that's going to be an error on Hunt. And that puts Kranepool on at first. Going to get his lead. Grody is a good hit and run guy and a good bunt guy. He's going to square for a bunt, and the bunt's going to be right back to the pitcher. Perfect bunt, and that will advance the runner. So the Mets have a runner scoring position. Now it's Don Hahn. Don Hahn probably batted .229, but in the replay, he's really struggled, batting .180. So this is probably the player that's been off by the most out of all the players on the team. He's got it up to .197, but then fell back into a hole. And he's in a slump again. So it's kind of been a slumping season for Don Hahn. Here's the pitch, and a 52 with a 3 again. That's going to it's another error check. The KD's 1-2, so the roll is a 3. It's above that. So we're going to look at a 52, and this is bounced to Foley. It's short, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be another error, 1 base error. So Foley boots it. I can almost guarantee it. And Foley at shortstop is a 9 error, so he will make the error, and that's going to put runners on first and third, E6. So 2 errors in the inning by the Expos put the Mets in a good position here to score a run. They got first and third with only 1 out, and Buddy Harrelson's up. So the Expos are going to play the corners in, middle halfway for the double play. Let's see what happens. Their double play will get them out of the inning, so we're going to do that. Play the middle halfway, and then the corners in to hold Kranepool. Here's the pitch. I'm going to show you how to do that. 32. 32 is going to be an out, but it's a 19. Now I go to the chart. I know the 19 is a fly ball to right. Now, Kranepool is average speed. I'll be able to challenge the right fielder's arm. It tells you to use the assist chance. Okay, so I have the option here. Sometimes you don't have the option. Other times you do have the option. And there's a reason for that. It's important that you make that distinction. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong way. So I got to look at Singleton's arm. His assist, not his arm, his assist. His assist is an automatic out. So let me look and see if it gives me the option. Because there's 2 easy charts, fast out charts, and then there's the actual, rule book outs, which has a different page for each, like almost like an APA, where you have a different page for a different on-base situation. This one just kind of puts them all together. So it says, but there's an assist chance if third tagging to score. So F runner would subtract 1 from the assist rating, and an S runner would add 1. Kranepool, I'm pretty sure, is an average runner at third. So let's double check that. I don't have them all memorized. I should, though. Yeah. So he's an average runner, and with an automatic. In this case, I get to choose. There are other options where you don't get to choose, like on a 20 on singles and doubles. Assist chance with runner trying to score if 2 are out. You see, it doesn't say assist chance roll versus outfield rating. Let me see. Assist chance with runner trying to score or trying to advance first to third. So I've kind of a line out roll again for double play. Yeah. So you see, risk is different than assist. Anytime you see assist, there's one that gives you the risk gives you the option. Either you go or you don't go. You're kind of like the base running coach, and you make that decision. But when there's an assist chance, that is so the outfielder can collect his assist numbers, right? So outfielders that have a lot of assists will only get those assists if it's the base running the coach makes that decision to send them, or the base runner decides on his own to send them, and you can't override that. And that's so the outfielders that kind of compile lots of assists get those assists, but they also influence. There's also an arm rating. So for when I get a chance to choose, like at 7, 8, and 9, I get a chance to choose. So and that's the way the rules are. Now this kind of reads a little bit differently, but I'm going with kind of the intent of the original rules, and I'm going to kind of stay with that. Otherwise, what happens is you never get anybody thrown out, right? Because you're never going to take really, you would only run on the average arms. You'd never run on the good arms, and those good arms that had, maybe they had 12, or average arms that may have 12 or 13 assists, people be like, well, the assist number is very high, so I'm not going to run on them if it comes out to be assists, and you have that option. So to make a long story short, assist choice chances are not kind of up to you, whereas the risk opportunities are up to you as a base running coach, and you can kind of send them or not send them. So in this case, what I'm going to do is basically it's a fly ball to right, and we're going to try to tag up because it does say assist. And there has to be some opportunities for the runner to make those decisions on his own, because otherwise the assists would never, the guys with high assists would never collect those assists, especially if there would be no reason to have an assist number, because that would never help anybody. Assist chance with runner trying to score, trying to advance first to third. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to basically, it's going to be a fly ball to right, and Kranepool is going to tag up, and here's the throw from Singleton, the tag by Stinson, who blocks the plate, and he is out. So it's going to be a double play, fly ball, double play. It's a 9-9-2, runner out, and Singleton throws out the runner tagging. It's a double play, and that ends the inning. So that was a long speech. Now, I think Tony Scott was more of a pinch runner. Had no stolen bases. Interesting. Had no stolen bases, has all strikeouts, had only 1 at bat, 2 runs scored. He played in 11 games. Why he started in this game, I'm not totally sure, but I'm going to kind of pinch hit for him right here. I don't know what's up with this. So I'm going to, we're going to look for a righty foot. There's a lot of extra, it's September, so there's a lot of extra guys in the lineup. And Tony Scott is in left field, so we're going to look for, let's see, Mangual. Mangual is going to come in. He's a right-hander. You get all the players with this game, so I don't have a problem. So looks like Tony Scott came up a little bit lame. They're going to replace him. I think Mangual played with the A's in '71, did he not? Pepe Mangual. All right, so he's going to come in to pinch hit. He's going to face Matlack with nobody out, and the pitch from Matlack, and that's going to be a 54, which is an unusual type play. It's a fly ball to right with an error check, and Staub will make that catch with a very high 18. Staub's error rating is, I think, 4 or 6, very low. Okay, here's Bob Bailey. Pitch from Matlack, it's a 41. That's ball 4. So Bailey walks, and let's look at the speed. He's at average speed, so he's okay. Breeden, not a good hit and run guy, not a good guy to sacrifice hit with. Hit 15 home runs and threw 250 at bats, so he's a 30 home run guy. And here's the pitch from Matlack, and that's a 51. That's an error check with that 19. If it's hit to a... So 19s are going to be automatic double plays. 18s are going to be fielder's choices if it goes to an infielder. And a 51 goes to the pitcher, and as long as the pitcher doesn't have a 20 on him, and he doesn't, it's going to be a right back to Matlack, who goes to Harrelson for one, back to Kranepool. Double play, and that ends the inning with the top of the fifth. Let's start moving a little bit. So on the screen, you can see that this tells me, hey, put somebody in left field, and we're going to put Mangual out there. All right, Renko's still in there. Now, Renko can go 32, and I know it's still only the fifth inning, so there's no, I don't even have to look. Matlack leads off, left-handed hitter, pitch from Renko. And 33 will be a ball four. So Matlack draws a walk. Good job. Renko, again, struggling with control. That I think is his fourth walk of the game. And it is. No strikeouts, 4 walks. Matlack has 2 walks. Okay, so Wayne Garrett, here's the pitch. He bats from the left side. That's a 22. That's going to be ball 4. That's his 5th walk. So pitching coach is going to go out to talk to Renko. And Felix Millon's going to square. And that is going to be a potential double play on a popped up. And no double play. Popped up to the first baseman. So that's 1 out. He fails to sacrifice successfully. Here is Rusty Staub, Legrand Orange, left-handed hitter. Renko gets a sign from Stinson. Matlack with his lead from second. Garrett off of first. 1 out here in the top of the fifth. No score. The pitch, and that's going to be a 43, which will be ball 4. That's the 6th walk by Renko. And the Mets are really hitting those 41s, 42s, and 43s. Bases loaded now with 1 out. And it's going to be Johnny Milner. Johnny Milner is batting .221. He batted .239. Got 11 home runs. He hit 12. He hit 23 home runs. So he's hitting many fewer home runs than he actually did. But he still has about a month to go, so we'll see what happens. He may catch fire. And he could hit one here. 1 out. Bases loaded. The Expos are going to play the infield. Then everybody's on the grass. Here's the pitch from Renko to Milner. And that is a deep drive off the bat of Milner. And that drives Singleton back to the track, to the wall, and that's in the seats. A grand slam by John Milner, the hammer. Holy smokes, did I call it or what? Yeah, you got a 66. So I write on these cards, right? The hammer hammers one into the seats and right, and the Mets are up 4-0. And that is his 12th home run of the season. And Renko wishes he had that pitch back, and we're going to see if we can get through the inning. Here's Steady Eddie Kranepool with a 55, and that is line base hit to center. So Kranepool rips the first pitch after the home run ball. And next up is Grody. Grody, a good hit and run guy, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to let him swing away, and that's a 66. That's going to be a drive, a 12. That's in the gap. Will anybody get there? No. And hustling around third, they're waving home Kranepool and into second base. The ball gets cut off. The tag at second, and that's an RBI double by Grody. And that, I believe, is going to be it for Renko. Gave up 5 runs here in the top of the fifth. Ouch. Let's see if we got to pull a double switch. Well, maybe not. It's kind of the middle of the lineup. We're going to find somebody who, we're going to go to Stoneman, Bill Stoneman. So let's grab Stoneman. I'm going to roll for him. All right, let's see what kind of stuff he's got, and he will have his A stuff. So out goes Renko, in comes Stoneman. Runner at second, Hahn up. And the pitch from Stoneman, 5-0 Mets here in the top of the fifth. And that's 66. Did I not roll that 3 times in a row? And that's going to be one hop off the wall. Mangual plays it in to Foley, and into second base is Hahn with an RBI double. Don Hahn gets in on the act. Mets score 6 runs here in the top of the fifth. Buddy Harrelson now. Pitch. And a 22. Another double. That's ball 4. Sometimes you start rolling doubles. John Matlack on an automatic out. Here's a pitch to Matlack with a 65. Struck him out. 2 down. And it's Wayne Garrett. 23, and that's strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Stoneman, and that retires the side, but not before the Mets come up with 6 big runs. And bottom of the fifth, it's Kenny Singleton leading off against John Matlack. Here's the pitch, and that is a 51. That's going to be an error check with a 6. Too high to be a KD. We're going to check. It's a first baseman error. Kranepool has a very low error rating, by the way, at first base. He was pretty good from what I remember, so let me double check. He only has a 2, so that is going to be a ball that he knocks down, and he's going to flip to the pitcher covering. Ron Woods, pitch. And a 45 will be a bouncer to third. Garrett up with it. Fires a strike to Kranepool, 2 away. Nice stretch by Kranepool. Here's Foley. 56, strike 3. And that retires the side. Easy inning again for Matlack, who is cruising in this game. Felix Mian now leads off. Stoneman on the mound for the Montreal Expos. I think their last season was like 94. Snake Eyes, and that is line base hit to left. Played on a hop by Mangual. Mian is on with a single, and like I said, he's been stroking the ball for sure. As of late, he's got his batting average up close to 290, where he should be. And here's Rusty Staub. Rusty Staub batting 323. The pitch from Stoneman, that's going to be a 43, and that'll be ball 4, 1-14. We roll a 16, so that's going to be a ground ball to short. And a strong arm shortstop will turn to double play. Let's see Foley. Foley at short is an average arm, so he's going to get the fielder's choice. 6-4, 1 out. Milner now, who hit a grand slam in his last at bat. Here's the pitch. And the 34 will be a ground ball and through the left side for a base hit. And a 5 will send 1 base advance for Staub. Second hit of the day for Milner. Kranepool now. Pitch, and that's a 44, which is a ball 4, and that loads the bases. So bases are loaded with only 1 out for the Mets, and here's Jerry Grody. Stoneman gets the sign. He's ready to pitch. And a 13 is going to be a double play ground ball hit to Bailey. Goes to second for 1, back to first. 5-4-3 double play. Actually, that's an 8. Yeah. Well, he's a switch hitter. No, he's a righty. So he's a righty, so that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. And that ends the inning. Stinson in the bottom of the 6th against Matlack. Pitch, and that's a Snake Eyes, and that'll be a 15. Is a ground ball to third. Garrett throws out Stinson. Now it's Stoneman. We'll get a pinch hitter. It'll be Foot. So I don't separate these cards. They're all kind of, you got a lot of players, as you can see. I'm going through all of them. Oh, he's on the floor. Okay, so it's got to be one of these guys. So this game really minimizes the rolls and the charts. As you've seen, I have not gone to any charts beyond. I memorized the outs chart, but it's really, for dummies, right? Because it's easy to memorize. There's only 3 or 4 numbers that you have to memorize. The rest of them are all just common sense. Like anything with a 4 is to second base, anything with a 6 is to shortstop, that sort of thing. Doesn't require much of memory, just common sense if you know baseball. Here's Barry Foote. Matlack. Winds and deals, and that's going to be a 35, and that'll be a fly ball center field. See that 8? It's Hahn over a couple of steps and under it. 2 away. And here's Ron Hunt. Hunt has had a good season, batted .309. 24 hit by pitches. Got a lot of hit by pitches on his card. Here's the pitch, and that's a 62. Strike through. Oh, no, there's no strikeouts here. So on Hunt, so he didn't strike out very much, but he's going to bounce one to short. Harrelson up with it. And, I didn't do the 6-3. There you go. And that retires the side. New pitcher for the Expos will be, look for somebody who has not pitched a lot. Here, this guy, Taylor. Let's look for Taylor now. It is the end of the season, and these guys need to pitch because they don't have any innings, and they did have innings that season. So I kind of go with guys that, towards the late close game, I'll bring in their closer, that sort of thing. But otherwise, I'll just go with the guy who has the most innings available. What are we looking for? C. Taylor. Oh wait, I'm looking at the batters. Let's go to the pitchers. Chuck Taylor. Wasn't he a basketball player? All right, Chuck Taylor. Let's roll for Taylor, and he will have his C stuff. That's a nice card. His whip was 0.9, 20 innings, 10 strikeouts. All right, Don Hahn leads off, top of the 7th. Here's the pitch, and it's a 16. That'll be 13 as a ground ball to short. Up with it is Foley. Throws a strike to Breeden. Went away. Harrelson next. That's from the left side of 21, and that'll be a fly ball center field. On the run is Woods. Will he get there? Yes. He runs it down. Ron Woods, and here's John Matlack. Pitch. And a 63. Strike 3, and that retires the side. Very quick. This plays just as quick as APA once you know the, like roll result. You get a lot of that here, but except this has... It's an advanced game that plays like a basic game, basically. So you get lots of detail. You'll get a lot of detail. Wild pitches and pass balls and balks and assist ratings for all the players and arm strength for all the players, and that'll make a difference whether it's a double play or a force out. So there's a lot of little details that are just naturally embedded in the flow of the game, and once you get those, it's easy to know. Just all right. So Mangual is batting, and here's the pitch to Mangual with the snake eyes, and that'll be a bounce to the third. Again, another one to Garrett. He's had a bunch of chances. One out. Here's Beetle Bailey. Pitch, and that's a 25, which will be lined and caught by Garrett. L5, rip to Garrett, and Garrett snatches it out of the air. Garrett made a lot of errors in this season, but he has pretty good, decent range at second base and at third base. He has a strong arm at third base, so he turns a lot of double plays, except his error rating is pretty high at a 9, probably the highest of anybody in the infield. All right, so Hal Breeden is up with 2 outs. And here's the pitch. And that is a 26 against a lefty. That's going to be a ground ball, and that's through. That's for the first hit of the game. There goes the no-hitter. Oh, that was painful. 26. That is a Splitsville. And John Matlack, Hal Breeden hits lefties. For sure, he hits them at 26 and he hits them at 25. So he's a specialist against lefties. So that's why he's in there, and he muscles one through the infield for the first hit of the ball game. There goes the no-hitter, my friends. I did not mention it. hopefully trying to preclude the end of it, right, by mentioning it. All right, so Kenny Singleton, here's the pitch, and that's a 33. That's going to be ripped to center. And let's see, a 13 will be fast, goes 2 bases. I don't know that he's fast. He is not. So he'll stop at second. So 2 on and 2 out for Ron Woods. Ron Woods, about a 230, 300 bats. Pitch. And a snake eyes, and that'll be 16. Struck him out, and that retires the side. Unfortunately, that ends the no-hitter, the no-hit bid for Matlack. But he still has that shutout going, which is a good thing for him. And Wayne Garrett leads off against Chuck Taylor. Mets lead at 6-0. The pitch, and a 25 will be bounced to second base. Seats the 14. So a 4 of 14 is a bouncer to second. And Felix Mian. That's from the right side with a 16, and a 15 is going to be bounced to third. Bailey up with it. Across the diamond, 2 out, and Rusty stop. And a hitter, the pitch from Taylor with a 43. And that'll be bounced right back to the mound, and Taylor throws him out, and that retires the side. Easy inning for Taylor. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Ron Hunt. Nope. Tim Foley's up. How did that happen? Hold on a second. Foley should be at the end. All right. Tim Foley's up. Matlack. Pitch, and it's a 44, and that's going to be line base hit to center field. So Foley rips 1. Next up is Stinson. Switch hitter batting from the right side, 42, and that's ball 4. Ouch. So 2 men on, so it looks like fatigue is setting in for Matlack. He's beginning to tire. Allowed a couple of guys to get on in the last inning, and now the first 2 in this inning are on. So they're going to see some movement in the Mets bullpen. But I'm pushing all these guys to go complete games because I have a tendency to overuse my bullpen at the beginning of the season. So we're going to get a pinch hitter here. It's going to be Larry Lintz. Larry Lintz is going to come in and pinch hit. And the pitch from Matlack, and that's going to be a 26, and that's going to be a base hit. He's a switch hitter, and he gets that automatic hit at 26 with a 2. It's the 8th inning. We're down by 6, so we're going to hold everybody. It's going to be a bases-loaded situation here. And Matlack is tiring fast. I'm trying to hope that he can get out of this issue with maybe a double play. Hunt. Matlack gets a sign from Grody. Mets are playing for the double play. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be a 63 and out. And a 16, the Mets may turn it. Only if it's an S arm does he get the double play. Oh, man, hold on a second. I don't think Harrelson's an S arm. Good defender, just not an S arm, and he's going to get the 4. They're going to try for the second. The double play goes to second for 1, back to first, and they only pick up the fielder's choice. A run scores. There goes the shutout. And it's Pepe Mangual. First and third, 1 out. Bottom of the 8th, 6-1 Mets. Pitch from Matlack. And that's going to be a 61. Strike 3. And Matlack blows a fastball by Pepe Mangual, also known as Pepe Bisbal. And here's Bailey, Beetle Bailey, with Matlack beginning to fatigue. See if we can get out Bailey. Here's a pitch, and that is going to be a 33. That's going to be ripped to center, base hit. Another run scores. Hunt will stop at second base again, just because we're playing it safe right now, and that may be it for Matlack. Man, I hate to move him out. Still, let's see where he is on his batter's face. He should, the Fall Classic goes by batter's face. He's got 30. And he's allowed 34. So he's still under his batter's face. A replay kind of uses a different system and already has him in red. So it's Hal Breeden with runners on first and third. It's 6-2. The tying run is on deck. Here's the pitch from Matlack. And a 16 will be a tapper right back to Matlack. And he pounces on it over to first, and that retires the side. Matlack gets out of that inning. Again, I'm trying to push my guys, my starters, to go deep because I kind of, the only pitcher I have for the next 19 games that, I have more pitchers, but I want to limit their innings. The only one that hasn't reached his limit is you got to believe, Tug McGraw. So anyway, let's go here. Let's see who the Expos can use. They can use McNally, McNally. Like, I try to stay away from guys that have reached their total innings pitched. Another right-hander. And we're going to roll. And what kind of stuff will he have? He will have his C stuff as well. And Milner leads off in the top of the ninth, 6-2. And a 64, which will 19 is a fly ball. Right field, that's in the gap. And Singleton after it, and Singleton runs it down. The hammered one in the fifth inning, a grand slam. Eddie Kranepool, pitch from McNally, and a 41 will be ball 4. So Steady Eddie gets a walk, and here's Grody. Pitch, and that is a 45 with a 15. And we're going to look. That's going to be a strong arm. Bailey, I doubt, is a strong arm. Probably an average arm. He is. So it's going to be a fielder's choice at second base. Grounded at third, goes to second for 1, and Kranepool goes in hard. Prevents the throw to first. Here's Don Hahn. Hahn batting 185. He's got a hit today. 24 will be a ground ball to third. Bailey across the diamond, that retires the side. Last licks for the Expos. Matlack is nearing his batter's face limit. Not there yet. Singleton up. Pitch. And it's a tapper right back to Matlack for the first out. 1 away. Ron Woods. Pitch for Matlack. 41, that's ball 4. Tim Foley steps in the box. He's a right-handed hitter. What has Foley done today? I don't know. Let's look. Foley 1 for 3 today, batting 209 on the season. 240 hitter, but that's not Fall Classic. That keeps that. That's a replay baseball. Here's a pitch. And a 54. It's going to be a potential wild pitch type thing. And an 11, and that is blocked by Grody. It could be a wild pitch or a pass ball, but it's too high to be a pass ball. And it's not a wild pitch, too high to be a wild pitch, the 11. And I used the card for that. It's right there. Wildest men on base, wild pitch or pass ball. I really like that. Because it's always kind of, they decide, you wait for the score to decide, was it a wild pitch or was it a pass ball? It's very realistic. Foley, ball in the dirt, and Grody blocks it. Foley's still up. Matlack with the pitch. And the 32 will be a fly ball, center field. Racing in is Hahn, and Hahn gets there for out number 2. So Matlack is 1 out away from a complete game victory. See what happens. Pitch to Stinson, the switch hitter, a 34, and that's going to be a ground ball to third. Garrett goes to second in time, and that's the ball game. The win goes to Matlack. He's 11-9. The loss goes to Steve Renko. I'll go over a couple of the highlights. Well, really, the hammer, John Milner hit a grand slam, and the Mets win at 6-2, and that was his 12th of the season. And 5 hits for Matlack. It was 5 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. Renko walked 6, struck out none. But Stoneman, Taylor, and McNally all did good jobs. It was Renko. All the runs were scored off Renko, who walks out of here with a 3.04 ERA. I think he had a 2.75 ERA when he came in. So I hope you enjoyed the program, the presentation of Fall Classic. As you can see, even with all the play-by-play and the explanations and so on, it still plays pretty darn quick. And if you just play it straight through, you can get low-scoring games. You can play very, very quickly. It's just and there's also so many different mods that you can kind of integrate once you know the game. Like every game, right? I think all guys that play a game a lot and know the game really well, they start saying, "Hey, listen, I feel that from my visual of baseball, I would see this happen a little bit." So yeah. If you really like lower scoring games, you can kind of adjust a little bit. It's not going to make a big difference. Just you adjust it down a little bit. It's like turning the volume up or down, right? Everybody does that. Or on the phone, adjusting the font size or the lighting on your computer. It's either too dark or too light, and you just kind of adjust it to what you like. So that's pretty much it. And you can also adjust this game for the era. If you're doing a pitcher's era, you can adjust it for a pitcher's era. If you're doing a hitter's era, you can adjust it for a hitter's era. There's a lot of factors that you can kind of manipulate if you want to, and so on. But the stats look really good for this 1973 replay, and I will be bringing those to you in a separate video. And I'm going to set up for another game thanks to Replay Baseball. Makes my life super easy because it gives me all the games here and it plays through the games for me, so I have all the standings and all the stats for everybody. Now this is that was the first game of a doubleheader. The next game is going to be Mike Torres versus Jerry Koosman. So I'm grabbing these pictures and I'm going to grab Mike Torres and put him out for the next game. I usually set up my next game and then kind of walk away and just do something else for a while. So there's Torres, and then I'm going to grab Jerry Koosman. Jerry Koosman, the batting card is there, so I kind of dump Matlack into the pile of hitters for the Mets. Koosman is there, and then here's Koosman's pitching card. So Matlack pitched an excellent game, as I commented. All my lefties have improved dramatically over the second half of the season. And I'm going to quickly look at the lineups. Now, I played as-played lineups because I don't care enough to actually create my own lineup. And I know Felix Mian bats second, and I know that Garrett bats first, Rusty Staub bats 3, 4, or 5, and Milner 4 or 5. And, pretty much I'm going to leave it the way it was because it's still the same lineup. All right, so I don't have to worry about that. And I don't know too much about Montreal, and I don't want to spend a lot of time. So here I have to go to... Oh, this is the whole thing. Okay, so I'm missing a batter here in the lineup. So it looks like I have to go into availability and adjust that. There's somebody that should be playing. What position is missing? Left fielder is missing. I have a left fielder missing, so I got to see why that is. And what I'm going to do is go to I'm going to go to baseball reference, right? And I'm going to look at that particular game and see who started. It's the second game of doubleheader with Koosman pitching. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going through baseball reference. Now, some guys, hate that hate playing or setting up actual lineups, and that's whatever you like. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? I don't care enough to create my own lineup. I don't fashion myself like a genius manager, and I don't think moving Mian from second to third is going to make a big difference in victories. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It just doesn't interest me that much. I just like to roll the game. All right, here are the Expos. So that was the first game. Now I don't know if we're on. Is it a Saturday doubleheader? Let's see. It'll tell us. All right. So September 7th. This game's Jerry Kuzman. Okay. So Alou. Philippe Alou leads off. So he is. Let me double check the. Yep. So that's the guy that's missing. So I'm going to go out of here. I'm going to go to availability. I'm going to click on Montreal, go to availability, and find out what the deal is with Alou. There he is. And yeah, this is those September games. So we're going to go to Alou, and we're going to turn him green. Okay. So we're going to turn them green, so now he should be in the line. Yep, there he is. So just like magic. So Alou. Now that shouldn't happen, and I've spoken to them at Replay Baseball a few times about it. But they want me to send them a copy, and I've been lazy to do that. Send them a copy of my season so they can look into it. So they offered to. They said send us a copy. And then I emailed them again, and they said send us a copy. We already told you. And I go, you did tell me, but I do my own thing. All right, so. I set this up, Woods, Bailey, Breeden, Singleton, Foley. Now it's Humphrey and Frias, so Humphrey and Frias are going to be here. So I got to find those guys. Humphrey is there, and Frias. Pepe Frias, another Pepe. We got Pepe Mangual, Pepe Frias. There he is, and then Mike Torres, his batting card. I don't know what I do with that. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Done. And I leave it just like that. When I come back, I'll roll for the columns. I'll leave it all set up, and that's how I kind of run my my season replays. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Remember to like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up for more content. And if you're checking out my videos, I've got 250 views, and I feel like I should have a few more thumbs up. So I appreciate if you view it. It's not always going to be the most interesting content to you, but maybe once in a while I hit on something that does interest you. And the way that you send that message that, hey, maybe today wasn't what I like, but next time I may say, I've seen stuff, and that's why you check in, right? You check in seeing, it's free content, and the way you kind of reward somebody for sharing, basically letting you into their home, letting you into their hobby, and sharing their their analysis of the games and their opinions on games and their excitement for our hobby. You reward them by giving them a thumbs up, and that's what I feel. I do that. I see a lot of entertainment, and it's very highly unusual that I see somebody, and I may not watch the whole thing because of whatever, but I looked into it to see what it was, and then I give them a thumbs up to encourage them. I say, hey, listen, maybe this time I didn't watch the whole thing, but next time I may be talking about something that I'm more interested in. So anyway, thanks. Take care, guys. Wish you the best. Bye now.